I just drove away with the mug on the roof of my car, and now it's in the middle of the street. Anyway,
Good morning, Frank. Got to be careful on that.
good morning. Yeah, dude, that's like the third time I've done that. I'm always in a rush.
Good morning, everybody. So today's call, I'm going to talk about a concept that Tech goes over. And last night he touched base on it, which was the purpose of starting a business is to make money, not spend money. And a lot of people are like, oh, I start a business so I can write off my car or whatever reason they come up with. But the idea behind a business is to generate income. So I want to talk about it. I tried to draw this out so that it makes sense. So I'm going to share my screen right now and you guys let me know some feedback on this idea. So this reseller negative concept is where you are losing money as a reseller. So this is your regular bills or these is right here. So everyone has their bills, everyone. So in different videos, we'll talk about reducing our bills, but for most people, you have a set number of bills every single month. So what people are looking for is like stage 4, where your reselling income, which is in blue on this chart, covers your bills. This is reseller nirvana, right? So like this is where, let's say your goal is $100 profit to replace your income, and your reselling income equals your bills. That won't make you rich though. That's just reselling as a job. So a lot of people are looking for this, but that's not really what you want. What you want is reseller abundance, where your reselling makes more than your bills. Okay. So then you invest the extra and that makes you rich. That's how you do this. In the beginning, a lot of people, I think maybe 80% of resellers are stuck in reseller negative, where they keep spending money and they don't make any money. Stage 1 is where you start at home, sell something you already own. So there's no expenses, but you make revenue, which is this blue part. So you make some money, didn't spend anything. Then you use that money, spend it in the next column, which is reseller growth. And you can now make twice as much profit because you get 2 items instead of 1 with that money. And you keep doing this. And in the beginning, you have to triple up. You can't just, if you buy when you buy something, you got to be able to go back next time and buy 2 items. You can't just replace the 1 item or you end up just staying in the same place. So this section right here, your reseller growth, reseller stability is where you don't have to put any more of your own money in because you have enough profit to pay for, for the store, but not enough to pay your bills yet. And then when you can pay your bill, this is reseller stability is when you could start taking a paycheck. That's what people keep asking, like, when can I start paying myself? It's when you're making enough profit to cover the cost of goods for the store. And then a little bit further is reseller nirvana, where it covers your bills. And then the next step is where it makes more than your bills. And here is where a lot of people start spending more and they don't have any money left to invest. They have lifestyle creep. They buy a new car, they buy stuff they don't need, and they don't have this yellow section. The bigger this yellow section is, the richer you'll become faster. So
Despite Chris not being here, are we still live on YouTube, or did the YouTube live stop when he left?
I don't know,
No,
but
it's
I'm
live.
curious.
No, it's on.
I'd love to find
okay.
out what stage is everyone at?
So
Well,
what was stage 4?
I volunteered the other day for the spreadsheet and everyone could see where I am. I'm in reseller negative just because I can't get a jump. I can't get a nudge.
I thought about something. For me, it's not my bills, it's my expensive addiction, travel. So instead of bills, I think if you said, I want to get enough money to buy a house or a down payment for a house, instead of bills, figure out how soon you want that money, divide it by the months and make that your monthly bill. And that way you can apply you can see how you're doing in relation to profit and your specific goal, which might be pay your bills, or it might be support some addiction like travel.
I think I'm right at the middle level where I'm paying my bills, but I'm not saving any more beyond that, which is where I want to be.
Did I miss something? Sorry, guys. That was so dramatic. Zoom forced
No,
me.
we were silently looking around at each other, trying to decide what to do. And then I said something, and everyone else was like, "Oh, we can talk now." Everybody started talking.
We were
So-
just talking about where on that chart that you made, where we think we are.
So this is how we account. Sally had mentioned some extra expenses. So for me, I was at $4,700 in expenses, pre-baby, right? Then we had a baby and got a house instead of a apartment, and my bills went way up, childcare and whatever. So now it's much more expensive. So now my bills are $8,700 a month. They went up a lot, $4,000 for after having a
How
baby.
much was the baby?
Well,
I'm asking this because I'm trying to figure this out too.
2K.
Like how much?
2K a month.
2K a month. Is that because of childcare mostly?
Yeah, childcare is 1,500, and then a little bit more than that, but that's like $2,000 for the baby extra, and then $2,000 extra for a bigger place.
You're giving me confidence, Chris. I can do this.
You can do this. So inside of my $8,700 monthly bill includes $6,000 for travel. So Sally had mentioned that. So that's not like a ton of money for travel, but you can go a couple places with that budget. So you just got to build it in. Whatever your lifestyle is that you want. If you want gifts, if you want whatever, you add that in. If you want investment stuff, you add that on top of that. So let's say you want to be a millionaire in 10 years. If you invest $6,000 a month into a normal investment at 8 to 10% a year, in 10 years, that 720,000 is $1 million. So let's say you guys set a goal and you want to be a millionaire in 10 years. You could just add a $6,000 bill on top of your expenses, because people are great at paying bills, but not at making money, right? So let's just say, Jess, I give her a $6,000 bill, but that bill goes to her $1 million fund for 10 years from now. She doesn't even notice, but then she has to start thinking differently, because $6,000 more net income is a lot. So you got to change your thinking. So essentially, there's the listing goal that pays your bills. Then there's the listing goal that makes you rich. Right? So most people don't ever get beyond paying their bills. They just, because that's what we're programmed to do. If you ever have a 9 to 5, you don't really think outside the box on how to do more. But essentially, you want to keep your expenses fixed or lower them. My expenses have gone down, other than the travel budget, we didn't use as much during COVID. But you got to think about what you want to do, build all your expenses in, and then stage 1, stop spending money. That's how you get to stage 1. Don't spend any more money. So if you have a death pile or all that stuff, you can just start selling it to get to the next stage. Also, you guys know I love my calculators and I love my illustrations. And the thing I can safely say is the biggest things with reselling are this: if you can somehow buy something for $5 and make $10 profit, or buy something for $1 and make $2 profit, you have to do that a lot. But if you can make more than double your money, and you can have an average sale price over $20. You multiply your money beyond any kind of thing. Because I've looked at all the models under $20, and it's really, really, really hard. Like I was just talking to Frank this morning. If you don't have a $20 ASP, it's really, really, really hard to scale. The exception would be, I guess, jewelry or light items. You can pay your bills under $20, no problem. But if you want to get rich, it's much easier if you have over a $20 average sale price, and that's hard, but
Is
that
it
requires
equally
that brand.
difficult?
What?
Is it equally difficult in the other direction?
How do you mean?
Like if we talk a lot about like super low ASP. What about like trying to aim for a 40, 50, $60 ASP? Like, are those also difficult to sustain for a long term? Because like when you look at the people in
Oh
the
yeah,
group, who
I'll
are
tell
making
you.
like- yeah.
Because OG reseller Craigslist Hunter nailed it. People don't really donate stuff over $30. Not really. We're not really finding. Yeah, you'll find one or two, but like no one finds only $30 plus items and does volume. You can do over $30 if you're a small seller, but if you're trying to get to stage 5 where you're making more than your bills, usually your ASP is around $20 plus shipping, around $20 plus shipping, not $20 including shipping.
Unless thrift's not your primary source. Because if you go to an estate sale, they're not donating it, they're selling it.
No, that's true. But like, I don't know if estate sale companies are getting rich. I feel like their model doesn't like it's difficult to do volume. I don't know. I think they make enough to pay the bills, have staff. And okay, also stage 5 is when you can hire staff, because a lot of people are asking, when can I hire someone? It's when you have extra, when you can already pay your bills and now you have extra money. And if you can use that money either to grow your business or replace yourself. And a lot of people get to the point where they just do less work with an employee, but they make the same or less.
I think the estate sale company's success is still the 80-20. 20% of them are making money and 80% are just not. I mean,
Sure.
at least here in Arizona.
I just think that imagine we get to sell to the whole world at home. Why would I want to do an estate sale and just sell to people in the neighborhood?
Your
That's not
margin should be higher if you did an estate sale though, just because
What?
they're like more their margins are probably higher because they're more of
You
like
know-
a service company rather than a product company like we are.
Isaiah, what do you think the biggest reason is their profitability is higher?
Because they're a service company.
Yes, but I think it's because there's no shipping.
Yeah. Well, I
I
don't
think
know. The shipping isn't that big of a deal because most of us have the customer pay for it.
Yes, but we pay fees on the shipping. That's the part that eats into everybody's profits. Like if you sell anything priority, you're paying an extra $1 in fees. So like that adds up. And this is the part that
They're mostly cash collected too, so that's another upside in their favor.
go ahead.
I said they're also mostly cash collected as well, so that's another upside in their favor.
Yeah.
Like they do primarily cash.
So right now, this is the I'm trying to give you guys some ideas because I think tech is right, and or maybe everybody's been leaning toward this, that we're going to hit a recession pretty soon, or if we're not already in it. So I think people are going to be more safe with their money. So I think that we all need to think about how we can safely increase our ASP without hurting the customer too much. And I think we need to be creative. I think we need to think about how to lot our items. I know that sounds difficult at first, but when I had my eBay store, most of the money I made was from more than one item selling in the same order. It's almost like I have a big store of singles just so I can get a double.
Did you add $1 or $2 to each additional item in an order or not?
$2,
Okay.
$1.99 extra.
And
And
that, you
without
felt
that,
that didn't get in the way of people ordering.
because either I offered a combined shipping deal or so either I offered a combined shipping deal if you paid full price, or if you made an offer, I would add $2 more. And essentially, the idea was if they just buy full price and get the shipping discount, I don't have to spend my time answering the offer. So if I give them a deal, then they got to pay a little bit extra for each additional item because I have to answer the deal. So this is why it's so big, is because when you do a order of 2, the customer pays half as much in shipping usually. So even if like you're saying, let's say it goes from first class to priority, even customers paying less per item than they did for the original item. So customers happy. You have half the labor costs because it's 1 shipment instead of 2 shipments.
Mhm.
It's just like everything is about getting 2 orders in 1. That's how you really speed this whole thing up. And it's almost like we just have the singles just so we can get doubles. It sounds so weird, but I'm just thinking about buyers. They have limited amounts of money. They want to make it go far. So I'd rather get 2 or 3 items, 4 items, pay 1 shipping. I'll buy an extra toilet paper from Costco to avoid the shipping charge or delivery fee or whatever. I think that's going to be a thing. So I'm just thinking shipping is going to get more expensive and you can't only sell singles. It's just my thought. Like, yes, if you find at the thrift store 4 polos that are the same, maybe you need one of those orders to be 2 of those polos. So that's just my thought. I think let's see if I can go back to my chart without I don't know why Zoom literally forced me to do an update right in the middle of a call.
Would it be better to, you said you need to sell or have somebody buy at least 2 of those polos if you found 4 that were the same? Would it be better to sell them in a lot instead?
I don't think, well, maybe. I think people like the option of picking and choosing, but I think that the 1 shipping cost or bundle deal is just how in the future more people are going to shop that way because they need to get more for their money. So I just think also, I don't think that reselling, okay, so I was listening to this guy talk about recessions, and for it to really happen and for a decline on eBay, there has to be an influx in supply and also a decrease in demand at the same time. I don't think there's a decrease in demand though. I feel like if anything, more people need used goods. Do you just feel like people are going to buy less used goods in a recession? I don't know if that's true. It's not, it might go down, but not a lot. That
Do you
doesn't,
think there an increase in online sellers is an issue at all for us?
that's the supply side. So
Because-
is there going to be more stuff for sale? I think so. Yeah.
But I think the number of people selling is also increasing. My bins in Phoenix has more than doubled over the last year in terms of daily traffic, according to the guy at the front door. So I was like, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
definitely. I think but there has to be an increase in supply and a decrease in demand at the same time. And I don't see that. I see like tons of people buy pre-owned. Like there's when I was selling all the stuff in my garage, people were pulling up in BMWs and Mercedes, just being like, oh yeah, we're trying to save a couple of bucks. And I'm like, you could just not pay $2,000 a month for your car. That's easier than buying used. What?
What percentage of like financial, and this is different. I want to also ask a question about what Jen just said, but
Yeah.
what percentage of financial stability, let's go with stability rather than freedom, is like predicated upon controlling spending compared to like earning more income?
You ready? I got
Yeah.
this is my chart. You see the bills here, right? You can only decrease your bills so much. This blue section can go to infinity. This is the beauty of America. Check this out. Right? So this is let's say this is our chart. You can only decrease your expenses so much. So let's look at this. Maybe this chart will really bring it home for everybody. Okay. Let me just pull this down to here. Okay. So I'm going to add 4 more bubbles here, and I'm going to add 8 bubbles up here. Okay. See, it's a lot easier to increase how much money you make than to decrease your bills. You can only, even if your bills were 0, which doesn't make sense, you can keep going at the investment part here where it starts to get ridiculous. Like you can't decrease your bills anymore. When you get to this point right here, because all this yellow goes straight into other investments, your money starts to grow really fast. I'm like pretty early on this journey, and it's already snowballing pretty fast. Like imagine 10 years down this road, then your bills seem like only 1% of the money that you're making. So it's easier to increase this profit than to decrease your bills.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot. I'm just like, is it even it's possible. It's not true. Like you can totally make like $7.25 an hour and then like become a millionaire by the time you're 65. There's people who have done that,
Definitely.
right? But like,
you know why?
because their expenses are really, really low. They make great decisions. Like there's a lot of factors that went into it, and they're like a huge exception compared to the rule. But like,
It's just that they invest the difference.
yeah,
That's all.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like
You can have
so
a high income and high expenses and have nothing left to invest, and you don't get anywhere.
totally. But like, is it truly feasible? Well, I don't know. Never mind. Like I was gonna ask, like, is it truly feasible to be able to save like substantial amounts of money to put yourself in a position where like if emergency, like having a year of expenses saved up, like is that feasible without having like a higher than usual income? Probably yes, but like it's so
Not,
rare.
to be honest, not really.
I think it's not really too.
If you look at the early retirement FIRE community, everyone makes 150,000 or more. It's not like, yes, there are people who make $50,000 or $60,000 a year that are millionaires, but not until they're 60. Like the millionaire next door is somebody gets married in their 20s. They make like $6,000 or $7,000 a year. I'm sorry, a month, and they spend 3,000 for 40 years. That's the normal millionaire next door. A dude in his 50s with his wife that he married in his 20s, and they it's usually white male in their 50s, lived on half their income, 10 to 15-year-old car, 1 or 2 vacations a year, just a normal vanilla person, nothing special. Now, if you want to hack that and you don't want to wait until you're 50, you have to have a higher income. You can't save your way there faster. There's people who become a millionaire in 1 year. That's just lots of income. So, Philip, what's up?
So I hear you talk about that like eBay and Amazon are the only 2 profitable like marketplace, like resale type platforms.
Yep.
Do you think that at a certain point, like, I mean, obviously, like everybody's seeing that we're most likely going to go into a recession.
Yeah.
Do you see those businesses that are like, barely holding on, or those companies kind of just going slowly out of business? Because I don't know I don't understand like the nitty gritty of like how they're not profitable.
So I think that the reason why they're not profitable, this would be my guess, is it's so expensive to acquire a customer. It's just hard. There's a lot of advertising. So to get somebody new to, like, I'll give you guys an example. I only get paid if I can bring a user to Whatnot and they buy something. Okay, so get how crazy this is. I have brought 1,400 people from YouTube on the Whatnot, right? They get a coupon for $15 off. They haven't used it. Is it because people don't have enough money to pay for the shipping costs, which is like $4 to $9 per item, but essentially you get a free item. But that's how difficult it is to get somebody to actually convert over to buying to the website. So imagine eBay spends $1 million a day on advertising to get people just to make money. But like other companies, they can't spend $1 million a day on advertising. That's crazy. That's so much money.
That's my mom's our biggest issue as well. Like she has a deli, and her biggest cost is customer acquisition. Like that's what makes our business so different than like other
Yeah.
businesses.
Eduardo, you have a thought?
Hey, Chris, couldn't I can make my business lose money just by paying myself a big salary. So don't you really have to look at the annual reports of those businesses to see why their bottom line is negative? Because it could be that by strategy, they're paying their board of directors $100,000 a year each.
Yeah, big business is different than little business. Small
Well,
business, yeah.
But you
it's
said
different.
that the big ones are losing money, though. You said, didn't you say that the Real is losing money? And
Yeah,
I-
well,
I'd have to look at their annual report before I could really say they're losing money or they're choosing to spend it on salaries, thus reducing their corporate.
one of the issues is that they pay a significant amount of money to authenticate items. They have the best photos in the game, the best descriptions, the most measurements. So they do the best job, and that's not cheap. So they basically, and also on top of that, they have 40% returns. That really makes it difficult to, you have, the customer has to keep the item for you to get paid. If they return it, you just went through all that hassle for nothing. So I think having the perfect listing hurts them. Now I actually think that pure white photos hurts you. I used to think that it helped you. Now I think it hurts you because customers think it's brand new, and the Real sells consigned used items for the most part. Bill,
Chris.
let's go Phil
Yeah.
first. Bill, then
Yeah,
Phil.
Chris, it's very interesting about the real world. If they do the best job, and I believe what you just said, then why do they have the most returns?
Because customers have unrealistic expectations. I think when I went over the listing on YouTube, I think it's insane. They tell you how much water you saved, how good you are for the planet. They've got a coupon, they've got a markdown, the most beautiful photos you've ever seen. Every single item is steamed. All the measurements are in there. They talk about how the brand fits. It's insane. And they say hassle-free returns. As a buyer, it's like, wow, thank you so much. I can't see this item in person, but you've done it the full justice, made this item look amazing. Then they go home, they put it on, they gained a little COVID weight, they wear it on Zoom without removing the tag for a couple of days, return it. Like, I feel like rentals is
Then-
huge because this is life
Then
now.
all they have to do is hire tech to do their photos. Problem solved.
No, that's not it. Because I don't know if customers would shop there. The Real commands an insane price. They charge triple or quadruple eBay. Tech can't do this model because it's different. The higher end goods where requires authentication, and to the point where you're getting sued by Chanel because they say that you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, that's a totally different business. Tech says they're in the business of authentication, which is maybe more what they're in. Maybe they're developing AI and stuff, and they'll be profitable on that in the future because their pricing is algorithmic. They essentially try to determine supply and demand using a robot, whereas we have to go in there. We go in there and manually do it. And yesterday on Tech's call, there was all this talk about AI and all this cool stuff, but I think that pretty much everybody here does a better job than robots.
Returns are much more dangerous when you have employees or you're a bigger company than there are for us, right? Because like
So-
when an item gets returned for me, like let's say if I like refunded the customer, I'm not actually losing $37. In reality, I'm just losing whatever my cost of goods was, which is like $6, right? Or $9. But like when you have employees and you pay $3 per item to get it processed, like you're also losing that $3. And then when it comes back in, it has to get processed again, which is an additional $3. So like for them to have 40% returns, like that's killing their business because every time an item comes back in, they have to like potentially redo several things to get it processed back into the system.
Definitely.
Make sure it's not damaged, all that other stuff. So
Yeah, it's that's why I think that Tech's model, and essentially this is what eBay and Amazon did. It's what every company does. They just never get to this point where their income is bigger than the bills. The bills are always just too high. See, that's why they're essentially the real, they're still in stage 0 because they spend more than they make. They haven't even reached stage 1 yet. They hope one day they'll reach stage 1. Everyone here that sells one item at home, they make more money than the Real or Poshmark or Mercari. If you're at home right now and you sold one item that you already own, you're already more profitable than them. So Sally, also, there's a tremendous amount of investment to get these sites off the ground. The labor of building the website, all the engineers, all the people who can authenticate.
Yeah, but
the-
Chris, I just looked at the third quarter report. And on 143, I guess it's million coming in, they're spending like over 50% on administrative. This does not count there. I mean, I'm looking at the columns on their
Yeah,
third quarter. So they're spending a crap load on administrative support.
but that happens when you have, I think they have 1,000 employees. It's not that easy to.
Okay, but what I'm saying is maybe they're, and we don't know how much maybe they're paying 999 employees $1 and the last one 42 million. But if I were going to invest in this company, I'd say, excuse me, let me see, why do your salaries and administrative costs, why are they running that high? Because if you look at their straight cost of listing, shipping, selling, that's about 45 of the 143. The other 100 is in what we don't know is fluff or overhead. So they may not, like I said, there may be a strategy for doing what they do. Don't know about that, but just looking at it.
I agree with you. I think most likely salaries might be bloated, but I think that that's the danger. That's why somebody doing it at home is so quote unquote profitable, because you're not really counting your own time. When you count your own time, you start to become unprofitable as well. If everyone is paying themselves $3 a listing, then you need to make $3 profit before you break even. Bill, what's up? Oh, you're good. Yeah, or Bill's saying high income is not wealth. It's the difference between what you make and what you save. I'm sorry, what you spend. It's the savings rate. I didn't learn that in school. So for those of you that are listening right now, high savings rate equals being rich usually. Andrew says you can decrease spending, but not by much. It's easier to make more. Missy's asking about lots. Do I mean quantity items per order or selling lots on a single listing? Both. I just think that it's a better experience for the customer. Like, yeah, I'd rather buy 2 shoes that I like, pay 1 shipping cost than 2 individual shoes from 2 different sellers and get 2 different shipping costs if I can. Mike says, how many items do they sell? I think the Real sells 20,000 items a day, from my understanding. So guys, if you divide that by the administrative costs that Sally was talking about, that's 20 listings per person per day. That's not a lot per person, right? So you could say, okay, I want you guys to techify this and do 100 listings per person. Then they would be insanely profitable, obviously, because hopefully that makes sense, Sally. They would essentially have 5 times more revenue, same administrative cost. If somehow they did 100 listings per employee instead of 20. But a lot of people in the group want to hire somebody when there are 20 listings and all their profit goes to that person.
Remember, shipping and stuff would also count as employees and like HR and stuff. So excluding those folks.
No, but you have to include those when you do your full administrative cost.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm saying like for it to be 100 listings per employee, like some employees aren't doing the listing part. Is what I mean.
Yeah, you're right. That would mean some employee, but the thing is, it would average that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. So in order to actually average 100 listings per person, some people would have to do like 500 listings to make up for 4 people who don't list at all. So like, okay, here we go. In the chart, right? What happens is people start giving this profit to an employee. That's the problem. So like this stage 4 where you're paying your bills and you're supporting yourself and no one's helping you. This is like most resellers try to get here. I'm just saying it won't make you rich. You got to get to this point and you got to invest the profit, not spend it. But getting another person is spending it. So this can go infinity. It can go to the point where you're literally spending 1% of your income, but it can't go the other way. You can't save your way. Can't save your way to being rich quickly, but you can make your money to being rich quickly.
So why put that money in a bank account / savings account or whatever, or even in an investment when you could, at certain stages at least, like put it back into your business and make, let's say you have an average of a 50% margin or whatever, right? Like,
So-
why not put it back in the business?
This is a good point. The number one way to invest your money is into a business that you operate. So this is like something that Frank, I talked to Frank a lot about this. The best use of your own money is investing in yourself, making yourself better. You're at the helm of the ship, driving it. When the founder leaves, businesses, they scale to zero. They just become administrative messes. Now that the real CEO left, but she left because of pressure that it wasn't profitable. But once the founder is gone, even eBay is not like it used to be. If you invest in yourself as the founder in your own company, you make a better investment than anything. Because okay, let me give you guys an example. Does everyone here think they could list twice as many items next year if you made some adjustments? I think anyone here could list twice as many items. Can you do that? Can you make twice as much money? Could you double your money in the stock market? Probably not. That's like extremely unlikely. So if you investing in yourself as being in this group, talking to other people, trying to figure out what you're supposed to do, you can. And I think that, because I do want to talk about personal finance a little bit, but I'm not a personal finance expert, but I can talk about how I, manage my bills. So it's just like mortgage, insurance is something to think about, your car. All these things can be reduced to make your life easier.
So what's the financial upside of saving the money rather than just putting it back into the business and continuing to grow as much as you can? Like, why take any money out at all?
Some people
have
don't.
that strategy.
Some people don't. Some people reinvest the money until they die. They just keep going. And there's really it becomes insane because if you, like Isaiah, in 60 years, if you keep doing this, you'll be like, okay, I want to buy this 50plex and then flip it into a mall. Because like the money is so big when you're the time compounding at that stage of your life. But like, that's how you defer the tax. That's the American way. You buy a house, you can exchange it into another one and defer the tax. Us resellers, we can buy something now and defer the tax. So there kind of is no benefit to keeping the money. It's better to be broke because you get taxed less. Just keep moving the money forward. As long as you have enough to pay your bills, then you can just keep going. Ben is saying it's not possible in the market. It's really hard. Hannah says that's how house flipping works. Take all the profits and immediately use it to buy another. So you guys understand this part right here, right? Is reinvestment as its finest. You get to this stage where you can pay your bills. This is where everyone's trying to get. After that, you increase your listing goal and you have this profit to reinvest. Tech has used this. Like, I've got to rebrand tech because a lot of people think tech is all the work, none the fun. But tech is all the investments, all the fun, really. Because it does you get the extra money, you put it somewhere else, that makes money. You take that, you reinvest somewhere else, that makes money. It is very interesting. It's honestly, it's pretty fun. Alan says you only invest money in the stock market or property that is excess in your business. This is what I mean, Alan. Like, you only need this much money for your business. You got, okay, so there's 8 bubbles. You only need 8 bubbles to pay for your business, but you made 16 bubbles of money. So that's what you start investing. This is exactly right. That's exactly right. So Alan, that's what happened when you increase your listing goal. You increase, if you all things stay the same, you keep selling items, then you end up getting more money than you can spend on investments. And that's why we've been talking about paying ourselves this week. All you have to do to pay yourself is don't buy more items than you sell. You can pay yourself day one. If you guys buy something for $10, flip it for $20 today, you can pay yourself $10. Don says it's more enjoyable. The more you do it, the more you like it. So passion means that you want to do it again, whatever it is. So it's normal to be passionate about things that you're good at. So if you want to increase your passion for eBay and you're feeling burnt out, just sell something. The fire will start again. Yeah, I'm trying to, maybe this illustration does, I don't know, does this illustration make sense to people? I'm trying to basically, this first stage is where people spend money but don't make any money. That's the blue part. The blue part is the money part. So maybe I should have made it green, but you're spending money here in reseller stage one, but you haven't made a profit yet. Then to reach stage one, you can just start from the beginning and sell something at home. Then you use that bubble to buy something that sells in the two bubbles, and you use that bubble to buy more stuff that makes money until this part right here equals your bills. You pay your reseller bills with some of the money, and then you equal. This is why when Sally was talking about yesterday about not telling people what to do with this money at first, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to tell you what to do with your money until this point. Then what you want to do in the yellow section, you do what you want to do with your own money. But let's get you to the point where your reselling business pays bills. And then if you want a Lamborghini and a trip to Italy every quarter, that's fine. Just add that to your bills. And like, I think it's perfectly reasonable for people who have something to just add it into your bills and then just get it. Like, you'll figure it out.
Agreed. I agree with you. That was the qualifier that needed to be there.
Yeah, that is the qualifier. That's right. Also, as odd as this sounds, Don, the sale is your drug. Don says the sale is his drug. How many people think that? If that's truly true, which I think it is, then you would get more drug serving other people than yourself. That's like the key, is like when you, I mean, like this is, I'm not necessarily a religious person, but service equals, if service is your drug, you're going to be just fine. But if serving yourself is your drug, that's really hard. That's like never ending.
Well, that's why when it can be like Tech says, when somebody says, oh, I'm a good shopper, he kind of shakes his head and he thinks, well, they might not be the best reseller, because if anything, yeah, your drug does, it should be doing service, but it shouldn't be when you buy it. Some people's drug is when they buy it in the shop, when they buy it, when they find it on the rack. You know, it's like, you gotta, that can't be your drug. Because like you said, then you'll just overbuy. And
well, this is how I look at it. Let's say I wake up in the morning and I want to serve Hannah, Annette, and Nancy, right? And I'm like, okay, that's what I want to do today. Does it really matter how I feel? There's nothing to do with it. I'm just going to be like, Annette, Nancy, Hannah, what do you guys need today? You need bread? Okay, I'm going to the store. It's easier to not have, like, what do my customers on eBay need? They need me to list 10 items today. Okay, let's get after it. That's easier than watching YouTube to watch David Goggins to motivate yourself to get out of bed. It has nothing to do with the customer. That's you. So it's easier when you think about other people. Way easier. So that's the hack. My income went way up when I got married. My income went way up after I had my baby. It's just like, you don't worry about yourself as much. And then that's the real drug. Then you have thousands of customers every day and you're high on life. Andrew says the drug is the feedback. It's difficult when the drug is the feedback, because sometimes people leave you a negative feedback and then you'll forget about the 1,000 good experiences that you had and just focus on the negative. But it's true. I love feedback too. It's like the immediate dopamine. But Hopefully this chart makes sense, guys, because I just think about now I don't want to increase my expenses because it's like it makes this blue part less interesting. You can do more stuff when there's more yellow for you to reinvest into other things. And then you can do whatever you want. You have my permission to drive a fancy car, wear only fur coats, whatever you want to do at that point is on you. But in the first part, don't rob your business of the money it needs to survive.
So is that the answer to the question Tice asked earlier? I think you ended up disconnecting when she asked it, but like, when is it okay to increase our personal lifestyles?
Oh, that's a great question.
She said
Okay.
she knows it's a personal question, but
Okay.
like, what's the
You
perspective?
ready? This is what happens. You want to look at it? Okay. Let's say we do this. This is our bills. We increase our personal lifestyle, right? You'd shrink this. Does that make sense, guys? If you have this, because you have to have this profit to pay for your increased lifestyle. So whenever you can increase your lifestyle whenever you want, just makes this yellow part smaller. So you got to have bigger and better goals to justify doubling your bills. Like you want to get twice as nice of a car, better place, private school for your kids. You better sell a lot of stuff. That's it. You can do that. I think somebody figured it out. If you want to live in $1 million home, 2 brand new cars for the family, private school for your kids, maxed out 401k, you need to make $350k a year to have everything. You want everything, you want all the things, $350k, you can get it. Less than that, you can't. So $350k is $1,000 profit a day. It's 100 a day. Guys, are you listening? Like 100 a day affords you any lifestyle. That's a lot. I'm not saying that's easy. I'm just saying 100 a day, you can do anything. You can literally have a supercar. You can have travel anywhere you want to. You can have all the things. You can have a different Rolex every day, whatever you want to do at 100 a day. And everyone in here at least knows what that is. Like you maybe you can't do it, but you can at least visualize what that is. It's not like so far. It's not like 2,000 items a day. 100 a day, people have done that in a week before, everyone in this group. So 100 a day affords you any lifestyle, full private school. If you want to do a 529 for your kids and set them up, you can do that. I like that. What movie is that from? Warren Buffett said, he wants to give his kids some money so they can do something, but not enough that they'll do nothing. That's nice. It would be nice to like help your kids along, but like, you don't want to give them so much they don't do anything. Kristen, I played the Millennial Monopoly where it's not about how much money you have. It's about the experiences you collect. It's way easier to collect experiences with money though. That's like the issue with that. Because I thought about that, but it's easier. It's easier because you can buy time with your money. If everyone had the skill of like cooking at home and saving 50% of your income, you'd be so rich. I thought it was a joke. I know I always say this, but like in my 20s, when people told me to save half my income, I thought it was a joke. I was like, oh, how can people do that? But it's not, it's totally doable. It's totally doable. Your grandmother said too much is just as bad as nothing at all. I know, right? I'd rather have no cake than 3 pieces of cake. Yeah, I think 300K is there's a Reddit post on it where a guy broke it down. Like everything people want. Private school, nice house, nice car, savings, 401k maxed out, maximum thing for your kids. It's like 350 a year. But it's also 350 a year every year, not just one time. Kristen plays the game of how much you can lower your expenses. That's a good game, but you only need to play it one time. Like, if you want to be like Beat the Bush, my homie, and you want to calculate how much money you spend when you flush the toilet, that's great. But he can make enough money to pay for a lifetime of flushes in a week. Not even. Yeah, Tice, if you want everything, you have to have 350K a year. James, I think I uploaded the UK call, but can you check? I think I did earlier. 350K is how you afford it all, which is 100 a day. Hannah had that goal too, essentially, but she wouldn't be working 7 days a week. So if you work 22 days a month, then you get you make like 250, making 1,000 a day. So that's like I guess we don't talk about that enough. How many people want everything versus just people who want to just get by or in the middle of getting by and everything?
How do you know if you really want everything or if you just like think you want everything? You know what I mean? Because like you could be like right now, yeah, I want that. I want everything. But like,
I don't know.
but like, you know, really wanting it. Like, do you really want to suffer for it? You know?
I would never want everything. Because where
Have
do
you
you go
tried
from there? That would be so boring.
Have you tried everything?
No.
Because like
But it seems like what would you achieve after that? You already have everything. There's no goal, there's no challenge, there's no
Not
so
everything,
boring.
everything. There's like levels to this. You know what I mean? Like
No.
300K is like the bottom level of a certain level that's above that.
Okay, if you make 350K a year, you can at least taste everything. You can't have everything.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah, that's
for me,
that's what I think about. It's about having the options of everything, not really doing anything.
that's
Yeah,
what I was gonna say. Like when Sally kind of said, like the investment, like you can't tell people where to invest, and I think that's because I don't. If you change the word investment to opportunity, we're all gonna have different opportunities, and like when an opportunity comes and you can't take it because you're not in the position, it sucks, man. You
But
know.
but let's go back to everything real quick, and then we'll go to Philip. I think everything would be serving everyone. If you wanted all the dopamine, then you would like cure everything. You would get all the dopamine if you really want all the dopamine. But most people want all the pleasure. That's why, like the guy Andrew on Love Is Blind, that guy, if he's a real person, that pleasure focused lifestyle I've never heard of before. It was like amazing. So I'm glad I watched that show just so I could see a guy that's so focused on hedonic stuff. Philip, what's up?
Yeah, I was gonna mention like I'm sure it's subjective, but I've personally I feel like I'm one of the like I want everything types of people because one time I was listening to a podcast and like I remember like my initial goal was to make 100,000, and then I heard a guy say to make 100,000 is kind of selfish because you can't help anybody but yourself, and I was like kind of realized like pretty valid point because at that point I mean you're good but you can't do anything for the people around you, and then also like I remember going to a play with my wife and we sat at the very top. Tickets were like expensive as hell, like $250, and like she couldn't really see the play. And then I remember just staring at the people in the front row, like kind of like jealous, but like a good jealous. And I don't know. I feel like after seeing that, like I just want to be like front row everything, VIP everything, like because like when you said that guy asked for everything, I don't know. I feel like it's got to be a different life of like looking at the menu and not having to look at the prices, or like not having to look at your bank accounts and like be stressed out.
That is something very interesting. Sally?
Very quickly, with the fear of sounding like a fortune cookie, I have lived in a car and I've lived unbelievably in a big mansion. My degree of happiness did not depend on either one of them. So if you would make one small change to instead of do you want all the stuff or do you want all the pleasure? So I have a friend who's fabulously wealthy and his pleasure is in leading a minimalist life. So he doesn't have all the stuff, but he has all the pleasure. I have options. I prefer my little house up on the hill looking at the river. That's all the pleasure for me. So I've had all the stuff, and unless all the stuff gives you all the pleasure, you're screwed.
I've seen people that really try to max this out, and hold on a second.
Sally, what you said is great. Like I heard this quote recently where someone was like, everybody knows that money doesn't buy happiness, but they're like, I'm gonna go find out for myself. And I love that. And I get exactly what Philip's talking about. Like
Okay.
I feel like that part of life would be better than like this part of life, but it probably also has its own challenges that also suck.
So I saw this guy on TikTok, and my wife was like, "Do not try and be this guy," because it was hilarious to me. Because he's like, "I want the fastest car possible to get to wherever I want to go. So I'm gonna get literally the fastest car. I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna have the most amazing food, the most amazing sex with my wife, the most amazing experiences with my kids, all of it." And it was just like looking at how he was trying to fit all of that in the one day was just a lot. And he has to make a ton of money to afford that. It's our Wednesday baby time. She's bored. Let's see. Ben said definitely
Hello.
be that guy. Go ahead, Sally. Oh, you're good. You good?
Hello.
I know. Natalie.
Not
Good
impressed.
morning, Natalie.
Good
Good
morning, Natalie.
morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good
Hi,
morning,
baby.
Natalie.
Say hi.
There you go. Awesome. Hi. So, hi.
Her cousin's name is Lucy, so she says that a lot. Lucy. Say hi.
Oh, look at that voice. Hi, baby. Hi.
Okay. Where you go? All right, I'll let you go. That's fun. Oh, Ty says that was great. You're looking for the magic number. I know, right? Watching her grow is fun.
Yeah, now I'm literally sitting here like a mad mathematician trying to reverse engineering to figure out like, okay, I got the number. Now what do I need to do in sales?
Yeah, because like you'll meet people who are lean fire that make they make 650K and then they retire. They move to Arizona and they live in one of those earth houses and they just farm and that's it. They're done. They're retired in their 20s. But then there's people who want to be fat fire. So lean fire is like just living on basic expenses. Fat fire is where you're retired and you live life to the max. That's intense. If you look at those guys' lifestyles. I showed Tech this one guy. He's like, in order for me to have the lifestyle that I want, I need $9 million a year. Okay, so he's like, I have 4 law practices, I have all these investments, 50 pieces of property, and $9 million a year is a lot. So I kind of work a lot, but I also want to spend time with my kids. So he's got like this chart of all these things that he does. I mean, that's hardcore. If you really want all this stuff, then if you want to afford the lifestyle, 350K, but if you want to own all that stuff, it's way more. Because what's up?
Sorry. So okay. Question for you. Now that you got my brain working now. My number is basically doubling what I'm making now. We want to do this in a safe, healthy way, but I want to, now that I'm juiced up, I'm like, I want to get there. So how do I do that now?
If you juiced up and you want to get there faster, you would just go to your existing items and make them sell faster. That's the correct use of that juice. Don't use that juice to go buy stuff. That's what normal juice happens. People get the entrepreneurship seizure, like Michael Gerber says. They get psyched about anything, and then they start spending money. You want to get psyched about making money.
Yeah.
So you got to get into your store and be like, how do I make this stuff sell faster? That's how you use it without spending. You make more without spending more, and that's your path to the.
And that totally makes sense. But to me, it's like, okay, so for me to sell more, I would have to lower my ASP, which then it messes up with the
Not
calculation.
necessarily. You
Not
can
necessarily.
sell-
Okay.
No, you're my ASP has gone up a little bit.
Okay.
It just I'm like obsessed with how to try to make things sell faster now. That's like I want to learn how to do that. Like
Because like I did what you were talking about like a couple of weeks ago. We were talking about how we need if we drop down the prices of our items to the actual like below market or at market pricing, they will